What's going on, everyone? So Microsoft's been having a rough couple of weeks. They have the FTC nipping at their heels over Activision Blizzard and rumors of Xbox coming to an end all over social media. So as you may know, rumors had been swirling that Microsoft was going to be taking Xbox third party and that they would possibly be pulling out of the console market altogether to only sell software. This led to many people on social media, especially the Xbox fanboys, collectively losing their minds all at once and what kind of seemed like panic at Xbox. This led to Xbox having an internal meeting where Phil Spencer is said to have reassured employees that they were going to continue making hardware. This leads to yesterday, where CEO of Microsoft Gaming Phil Spencer and President of Xbox Sarah Bond were on the official Xbox podcast to address the rumors circling on social media about the company moving towards third-party releases and the future of Xbox as a whole. Now, they didn't address everything, and some of the stuff they did was in a fairly vague way, the first being the idea of them taking their major franchises third-party. Phil Spencer said that they are wanting to move in that direction with some of their games, but that they will still be keeping major franchises exclusive for now. He did confirm, though, that 4 of their smaller exclusives would be going multi-platform, but he wouldn't name them. He also said that Starfield and Indiana Jones are not going to be part of the 4 exclusives coming to other platforms.
So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones. So now, last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn. We're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play.
Now, people are already speculating on what those 4 games could be, with many people leaning towards Sea of Thieves, Grounded, and Hi-Fi Rush as 3 of the 4. Phil Spencer also said that as of now, there is no plans to make any major franchise non-exclusive, but they are not necessarily ruling that out for the future.
When you just step back and you look at the history of the industry, we've moved from a place where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like cross-play, cross-progression, the things that we're doing with cloud. How do we actually give more options to game creators so they can have the greatest success? And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working. We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually reach new players beyond the console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it and doing more, because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation.
Now, later in the podcast, they started to talk about the future of the Xbox brand and the future of hardware. One of the things that stood out to me was that Sarah Bond said that the next generation hardware will be, quote, the largest technical leap ever seen in a hardware generation, unquote. That doesn't exactly fill me with hope, because to me, it implies we're going for a title again over games, like the Xbox Series X being touted as the most powerful console, and it's still not helping Xbox financially right now due to lack of games. Anyway, what caught my attention specifically about that is that she didn't mention it would be a new console, she said hardware. That by itself might be seen as PR speak, and that it does include console, but there was a report that wasn't addressed adequately, at least for me, that mentions that Microsoft has reduced their physical retail team. The reason why that's important, at least to me, is that it hints at them possibly moving towards a fully digital, which will more than likely be accepted this time, and possibly cloud gaming hardware rather than a traditional console. Why that route? Well, Sarah had mentioned their investments into the cloud more than a couple times. Also, a fully digital console like the original plans for the Xbox One isn't exactly the largest technical leap ever seen in a hardware generation. Also, Phil Spencer has mentioned he wants people to be able to play anywhere. Hard to do that with just digital, but with cloud gaming, it would be possible. Personally, though, if they go down that route, I feel like it would be a massive mistake. They tried going all digital with the original Xbox One before people were ready, and it was way too early, and people revolted. Nowadays, I suspect more people are buying digital games than physical, but moving to cloud gaming only could end up being another Xbox One launch fiasco all over again. And in case you don't remember, here's how that went.
And how it links games and entertainment, the functionality of the box, some of the advantages that you get of having a box that is designed to use an online state. So that, to me, is a future-proof choice. And I think people could have arguably gone the other way if we didn't do it. And fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message if you don't,
Well,
don't like it?
if you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device. And
in addition to creating an amazing library of new titles on PlayStation 4, we're equally focused on delivering what gamers want most, without imposing restrictions or devaluing their PS4 purchases. For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers. Guess that's a good thing. We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. Or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
I also hope they don't try making it a selling point that their hardware is the largest technical leap ever seen in a hardware generation, because I don't think your average user cares about that. What they care about is the software you're putting on it. Make good games and people will buy the hardware. That's the main reason I switched to PC. But for direct competition to Xbox, look at Nintendo. Not the greatest hardware, but it sells like crazy because of the games and to an extent, brand loyalty. But if the games weren't good, I doubt brand loyalty would last long. And that's something that Xbox has struggled with for the last 2 generations. The original Xbox One had no big franchise games at launch, and to be honest, the game releases were pretty sparse for large platform exclusives on it. And that trend seems to be continuing through the Xbox Series X. Now, they did have Halo Infinite, but that was an absolute trash fire on launch, and if I remember right, it took about a year to get it fixed. Then in 2022, Starfield was supposed to be the big game that holiday season, but it got delayed and pushed back to 2023. Then, in 2023, they released Redfall, which was supposed to be a big seller, and that was so disastrous that Phil Spencer came out to apologize for the mess that it was. Then, not too long after that, Microsoft finally released Starfield, and well, we all know how that went. Not great. Microsoft has been struggling to get successful big games out on their hardware for a while now, and that's the real issue they're having, and I hope they can turn it around. Now, even though I don't play on console, I really hope that Xbox stays around and continues to be competition in the market for Sony and Nintendo, and helps push everyone to make better games and hardware, because the more competition, the better results for us as the consumer and the gamer. Anyway, that's all I got for today. See y'all next time.